We are all busy replying emails every day. They are coming from all different directions, right? The reason for that is that no one planned the communication flow in the project. So no one at the beginning of the project was thinking about all of those people that are constantly exchanging and creating new information. Let me show you a simple technique how to organize the communication flow inside a project. And even if the technique is simple and the video is only 5 minutes, it may be the difference between the dragging project, exhausted team, and chaotic communication versus relaxed team and the customers coming back to you because it's fun to work with you. The technique I want to show you in this video is called the communication schedule. Let me give you 4 points on it. So the point number 1 is communication schedule is not a new idea. It's used in many different industries. If you have read this book by Atul Gawande called Checklist Manifesto, the author is actually investigating how the communication schedule is used on the construction sites. When they are building the large skyscrapers, the large buildings, it's a lot of sub-suppliers, hundreds of sub-suppliers, that needs to align on certain key facts and certain key designs before they can start to work. So in the construction industry, they really believe in the power of communication. They are planning ahead who should be aligned with whom on what. And then they create a schedule when people should be aligned on what and what was the result of the discussion. And if they see the problems that the people are not aligned, they don't start the work. Okay, so here is point number 2. Behind your communication schedule are real people. So please stop planning for stakeholders, for management, for engineering team. Try to think about it like Jill from the software engineering team in our company is talking to John on the customer side. And once you put all of those people on the paper, you will be stunned how many communication paths are there between the people. And this is exactly the amount of emails that you are getting every day that you need to respond. Those are the tens of emails really. So here is point number 3. How to structure your communication. Now we are getting to the core of the technique. So most of the managers will tell you structure everything per project phase. So we have planning phase and we have design phase and testing phase. But in reality, from my experience, all of those phases are overlapping in the projects. It's very hard to get something organized by project phase because they overlap and the total picture that you will get of communication will not be exact matching the reality. Better way to do that is, for example, per specific area. So let's say that a high priority in your software project is security. And you want to make sure that security is done right, because that's the top priority. So let's manage the communication flow specifically for security. Let's say Josh from the security team on our side needs to align with the customer, with a Phil on the customer side, what will be the highest security level that we want to achieve in this project. And that might be one communication item. How they achieve it, whether they will have the online meeting or they will have a phone call, let's give them their freedom. They will find a way how to communicate. But let's write into the communication plan that by April 20th, these two guys needs to be aligned on what will be the highest security level in the project. Very probably if you will ask them, please align by April 20th, they will tell you, okay, but we need to know A, B, C, D. And then you get like backwards all of the communication that needs to happen straight from the engineers, and you can put that directly into your communication schedule. You don't need to cover the whole project, you can cover only selected areas, let's say those that are the highest priority, and that may create this sort of a balance between the freedom for communicating anyone with anyone and having tens of emails every day versus having a structured communication where you know, okay, this communication is happening and the result will be captured in this and that document. Okay, so let's have a look at the example of the project communication schedule. It's a simple table, it's made for people, so it should be simple. And in the first column, you can have the communication, the real interaction. So someone should align with someone on something, or someone shall get a feedback on something, things like that. Then you have who will be doing that thing, who will be coming with the first version of the information. Who else should be in the process? So those might be the reviewers. The status, which we will leave open, and I will tell you in a second why we will leave open. the date when the first information should be submitted, the approval date, and then where are the results captured. If you start with this simple form, it will be understandable for the people and you will not need any fancy tool to do that. So let's start, as we said, for example, with the security. So we will write the name of the area here, security, and let's come up from the top of my head. Align on highest security level in the project. Another one might be review the main test cases. That's a communication. Another one might be get the feedback on the test report from the client. So this is a simple example how you can come up with like 3 items for the highest priority area, right? And if the highest priority in your project is, for example, testing, then let's start with that area. If it is something else, you can choose that. It's made for people, so let's use real names there. Not like this is the engineering team or this is the testing team or this is like management or stakeholders. Don't use this fancy stuff. Use the names of the real people. It's done for people, so they should see their names so they understand, okay, I need to align with someone on something before the work can continue. This will be John from our company, who needs to align with Jeff from customer's company. We will leave the status open because this is a project communication plan, so it shall be visible at all time. The thing I can highly advise is that you print it out, you put it somewhere on the wall so people can see, okay, by April 20, John needs to be aligned with Jeff on something, and then just take the green pencil. Once they do that, once they capture the outcome of their discussion into some document, just fill it with green so it's done. So we will leave the status open for now. You will then fill it later according to what it is. Don't try to predefine like the status is open or it's closed or it's done or something. Don't try to, like lock people into the process. They will see many different other states. So we started the discussion, but we are not there yet. So it is in progress, but it's almost done. So submit date, let's say April 20th. That's when John should come up with the first, and once they are done, you should approve it by May 5th. And the result should be in the security architecture document. Okay, it's that simple. Don't make it more complex. It's for people. People like simple things. So as I said, once you have the first version, show it to the people. They will give you another, I'm sure, 8 points on security. So put there whatever they think is important. You will see the full picture of the communication. Print it out. Put it on the wall so that everyone can see it, or put it on some like shared drive, shared location where everyone can see it. And as I said, the simpler, the better. So now that you have the example of the communication schedule, let me give you a few tips. So tip number 1, don't go too deep with the first version. Just select some areas, put like 2 or 3 major interactions, major communications that must happen within each area. That will create sort of a space for your people to step into the process, so they will come up by themselves with the items that they want to discuss with the other side. Tip number 2, skip the obvious information, right? I've seen a lot of communication plans that are planning like, okay, we will have weekly meetings on Monday 9 o'clock. So the fact that you have the weekly meeting is just that, it's a fact. You don't need a communication schedule for that, or the deadlines. Of course, the engineers will get the deadlines. They will see that from the Gantt chart. They will see that from your PowerPoint slides, from the kickoff meeting, right? You don't need a communication plan for that. Let's focus on really the communication that must happen behind the scenes before the people are really able to do their work. So let's say the security, the highest security level, there's a lot of communication that needs to happen between different sides, between different people in your project before they agree on the highest security level, based on price, based on effort that it will take, and so on. Another good tip that I may give you, assemble the communication plan backwards. So let's say that you want to have testing complete, right? What shall happen? Which communication shall happen before we have a testing complete? So we need to agree on the test strategy. Who is the right person to do that, right? Put it in the communication plan. Or we need to agree on the format of the test results, or how deep we will go with testing of different modules in the project. All of this alignment and feedback needs to take place before you reach testing complete. So plan it, backwards in your communication schedule. So let me know how it went with your first communication schedule. Which roadblocks have you hit? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next week.